If Ayatollah Sistani declared jihad, there wouldn't be a single American left in Iraq.
We think of Ayatollah Sistani as our nuclear time bomb. Let the Americans know, if he declares jihad, we will follow.
If he were to call for jihad, I'd close my workshop, I'd bid my family farewell, and I'd go to war.
In the souks, in the chai shops, in internet cafes, on the wall and online, there's an all-knowing presence. A face that's seen everywhere, yet few have ever actually seen the Iranian-born Grand Ayatollah Ali Sistani. Of late, there's been another highly visible face, that of the angry young rebel cleric Muqtada al-Sadr, whose militia took on the might of the American army. The two men offer contrasting visions of Shia Islam. Muqtada is militant, his supporters impatient. Sistani stands for the moderate majority. The success or failure of America's democracy project in Iraq hangs on the blessing of this old man, who hasn't stepped out of his house in 6 years and who doesn't give interviews.
امروز آقا پشتوانه قوی مردم عراق وجود آقای سیستانیه.
The only thing that people in Iraq can rely on right now is the presence of Grand Ayatollah Sistani. I am really repulsed by the way that the Western and Arab media compare Mr. Sistani to people who are just not of the same caliber. It's truly dreadful when you hear the media comparing Muqtada al-Sadr to Ayatollah Sistani. It's like comparing a turnip to a king.
The Americans recognize his importance, not as king, but as kingmaker. That's why, as the June the 30th handover approaches, the Ayatollah's political significance is growing. Over the past year, the Americans have repeatedly sought a meeting with Sistani, but the US Viceroy has never been granted an audience.
The Governing Council is in discussions with the Grand Ayatollah, for whom we have the greatest respect, and I think it's probably best if I leave those discussions between the Governing Council and the Ayatollah.
Sistani is understood to have sent Paul Bremer a message. "You're American," he said. "I'm Iranian. Let's let the Iraqi people decide." It was a clever response. Clever because Sistani knows the majority of the Iraqi people will do exactly as he commands, whatever that might be.
At this stage we need silence and diplomacy, not fighting. Maybe one day Mr. Sistani will declare jihad and we will become fighters. But we hope that won't happen and that we'll be able to deal with the Americans through dialogue.
This is what we do know about Grand Ayatollah Ali Sistani. He's the chosen leader of the vast majority of the world's 180 million Shia Muslims. They follow his interpretation of the teachings of the Quran, and they're obliged by Shia law to give him 1/5 of their disposable incomes, so his organisation has access to tens of millions of pounds. Held under house arrest by Saddam Hussein, Ali Sistani communicated with his followers through a global network of representative officers. The most active are in Iran, where the Grand Ayatollah was born. His representatives have become local celebrities.
The object of emulation supervises and gives you orders regarding your daily religious affairs. But when we say religious affairs, we don't just mean praying, pilgrimage and fasting. We mean every aspect of human beings' lives.
From Jakarta to Moscow, Tbilisi to New York, Sistani embassies function as drop-in centres for his followers. This one's in Mashhad, the Ayatollah's birthplace in northeastern Iran.
We have 100 to 150 people coming here every day. It's so busy that we don't even get a lunch break.
This woman's here with her new boyfriend to sort out her divorce. This man's trying to figure out how to divide his inheritance between Sistani and his children. The Sistani consultancy boasts a telephone hotline, open from 9 a.m. until sundown. The Quran is consulted. The advice depends on which verse his eyes fall on. Consulting God, as they call it, is fine if you're a local phone call away. But what if you're not? Millions of Shia are scattered across the world. Sistani.org offers advice on everyday personal matters, from keeping dogs to playing chess. Under S, there's screeds of guidance on sexual behaviour. Also under S, suicide, which, Sistani states, is not permitted under any circumstances, bombing included. Sistani confounds all the stereotypes. He's a modernizer from Iran who's used the internet to extend his power base. And another surprise, he's wooing the women of Iraq, religious and secular. Here in Baghdad, Sistani's organisation has funded one of the first religious schools to be opened specifically for Shia women. There's been a rush to enrol.
Under Saddam, we women had to study religion and the Holy Quran secretly in a mosque. But after the fall of the regime, we noticed that both teachers and students were really enthusiastic about studying Islam. So we didn't have to do anything to attract women to come to classes here. Mr. Sistani's last fatwa said that women should vote and should have a special quota in future parliamentary elections. That means they should occupy 40 seats in the parliament. He looks at women as human beings and looks at their capabilities, not their gender. That is what the Holy Quran asks us to do as well.
We're at Baghdad's School of Fine Art. Some of the young female students here had been concerned that the rise of the clerics in post-Saddam Iraq would affect their personal freedoms.
Many women are forced to wear the veil because they're worried about their safety and getting raped. Under Saddam, there were no religious leaders and we were not scared.
In Saddam's time, we lived in a cage. Then we were released into the jungle, but we didn't know what to do in the jungle. We are scared of some of the religious leaders. At the beginning of this school year, I thought I should wear the veil, but I changed my mind.
Ayatollah Sistani understands us. He would like to preserve women's rights. He doesn't want Iraq to be another Iran.
The reverence Sistani commands in Iraq is so pervasive, it proves impossible to find anyone critical. The Ayatollah wields spiritual power, but he's also the most politically influential man in Iraq.
We consider him the great one in Iraq. He's the first and foremost object of emulation. We cannot deviate from what he asks us to do. He's a wonderful man. He loves peace and Islam.
In the cafes, all the talk is of politics, the trials of occupation, and the transfer of power. And, of course, Sistani's likely verdict.
If Sistani announces jihad, we will force the occupiers out of the country. We will carry out suicide bombings, and we will throw ourselves under their tanks. Jihad is one of the most important obligations we have in Islam. It is like fasting, prayers, and paying 1/5 of your earnings.
But Sistani is no rabble-rouser. He kept silent under Saddam. He's also been silent over the degrading treatment of Iraqis by occupying forces. Yet the Shia are a patient people, and nothing will happen until Ayatollah Sistani says it's time.
You should follow your object of emulation in every situation. Ayatollah Sistani is our leader. He knows what to do.
Jafar's devotion to Sistani is particularly breathtaking. This is a man who was tortured by Saddam and then detained for 6 months by American troops along with 9 members of his family.
The Americans beat us and urinated on us. They took pictures of us. They had a translator and 2 investigators, but they had no mercy. One of them had an iron bar and he beat us with that. He treated us like animals and ordered me to kiss his shoes.
Not all Shia are as patient as Jafar. These angry, unemployed, disenchanted young men are the supporters of Muqtada al-Sadr, the junior cleric who started the Shia uprising in March. It's Friday prayers in Kufa, just down the road from the city of Najaf, Sistani's hometown and the hearthstone of Shia Islam. Muqtada is to give today's sermon. As we're filming, a firefight breaks out between Muqtada's militia and the Americans, who've been trying and failing to evict Muqtada's forces from Iraq's holy cities. Muqtada al-Sadr and Ali Sistani are neighbours in Najaf, but they're miles apart politically. The uprising was a warning shot of what can happen when the Shia of Iraq disregard the moderation and patience of Sistani. The old Ayatollah sought to calm the fiery young cleric. He appealed to him and the Americans to keep their gun battles away from these, the holiest Shia shrines. Now an uneasy truce is holding, but there's still sporadic rocket and mortar fire. The city, which has been Sistani's home for 50 years, has become a ghost town.
Ayatollah Sistani is trying his best to stop the bloodshed. He is asking both the Iraqis and the Americans to settle their arguments through peaceful means. Unfortunately, neither of them listen to him. May God prolong Sistani's life, kill all his enemies, and we condemn anyone who doesn't listen to our object of emulation.
While the outside world frets about the way forward now, for most Iraqi Shia, the answer is obvious. Failure to listen to the object of emulation will be a bad omen. Ali Sistani's political stature is destined to grow, as is his spiritual authority as Iraq's moral compass. Whatever direction Iraq's future leaders take, their legitimacy will rest on his seal of approval.